I come from a country where, since the dawn of man, we built like this, but there was no school of architecture until 2008. And we didn't have a word for architecture in my native language. So the only way I know architects were cool is what I saw in the media. And that's what I wanted to be, that's the dream. And to be honest, I'd never met an architect before I went to school. And not surprising, because I came to learn later that Africa accounts for about a quarter of architects in the country of Italy alone. But I wasn't ready to let the statistics stop me from chasing that cool. And I applied for scholarships, and like they announced, I went to Shanghai, China. And I witnessed this incredible transformation. Chinese make it look very easy to overhaul an entire city. Even though there were problems like pollution and massive displacement of population we've heard from China, we still witnessed a cultural change and incredible architecture being born when I was there. So it was a good experience for me as an architect student to witness. And when I went back home in Kigali, my home city, the city was also on a path to change. This is a conceptual master plan for the city of what we want it to be in the next few years. And we've started implementing that, and we're seeing good results. To come back again, when I say where I'm from, no one applauded, so I guess you don't know what it is. This is Rwanda. It's a small country, and to be honest, there are only two things you need to know about the country. It's the most beautiful country in the world. That's the fact. Seriously, that's a true fact. Let's put it that way. And fact number two is there are many of us on a small piece of land. We're the most densely, fastest growing country in Africa. What that means is every square meter of this land is occupied by someone. And we started thinking when I joined a master design group is who designed for clinics and schools and social housing in rural Africa? Well, that's a question that we asked Dr. Paul Farmer, and that's what he asked us back. He founded an NGO called Partners in Health, and what they do is they advocate for global health equity. They believe everyone deserves the best care possible. And the reason he asked us back that question is because he had partnered with the government of Rwanda to design, to provide healthcare in a district called Burera district. It's a district that in 2006 had 400 people around that and had 0 doctor. So we started working on this project and we realized that most rural clinics in Africa look like this. And these are the good ones, trust me, I've been to worse. And some of the times we realized that these tend to cause what we call epidemic level catastrophes. A good example is one in Tugela Ferry here in South Africa, where people contacted a multi-drug resistant TB strand, and then because they visited a clinic in the community. So we decided to build a building that can heal and not make people sick. And the building was on the hilltop with a cross ventilation, so clinic services can go up, support services can go low, and this cross breeze can allow the 12 air changes recommended by the WHO to counter these nosocomial diseases. But also we looked at the softer side from the patient's perspective. Study shows that a patient, by having a view to the window outside, they can contribute to their healing time and have courtyards where patients, family, staff can gather and enjoy the Rwanda's beautiful climate. And how do we build in this rural area? And why does it matter to us? Because these are the people we're building for, and these are the people we're building with. So this hospital, this entire design was designed to employ over 4,000 people from this region. And what do we build it with? What do we find there? It's a volcanic region where you find this volcanic stone. What we did is to work with the masons who've never done this before and create a method where you can use this material in a new, innovative way. And what this has started, I'm telling you, is a revolution. Because this young man, his name is Hakiza. We worked with him on the hospital. This is him posing in front of that wall. This photo was taken 5 years later. On the right, he's working on a project in the city of Kigali of a client who went to the hospital, loved the volcanic stone, and commissioned him to build it for him. Look how the craft has improved in 5 years. It's incredible. This is the story of a woman that I'm not going to say, but show you, because she has gone through what we haven't even encountered in my country.
Nta mugore wubaka, nta mugore wurira, nta mugore ugira icyo byose. Baramahaza bagira icyo byose ariko no.
We used to have a popular drama on BBC. There is one woman working in the masonry. They call that lady the same nickname.
Bakagaruka ariko iyo bumvise aho ndi noneho rero baza bavuga bati tukikora kwa Kamanzi tukikora kwa Kamanzi.
She's working in a masonry, which is normally is not common to have a woman working in a masonry. Now she's a team leader.
Ubwo nakomeza nkebereke umufundi. Nuko ubwo binzamo gutyo bisa nibimbamo karande. Kugeza ubu ngubu arishimye ahagarariye ahangaha. Aho bigereye nk'ahangaha arishimye. Aho tumaze kuba benshi. Ibitsina gore 9 bose bari kubaka. Nibyo dukora rwose. No mu giturage dukora gashya. Nta gashya urebye.
Around the village, she's changing the life of their colleagues. She's making other building in a village. She's now paying the school fees for the kids. She's helping the husband to build the house. She's changing totally the life.
Nyamabwiye ni uburingane ntabwo buzabaho, nta nubwo bunashoboka. Usibye ko gusa ngubu iyo mbonye uko nkora nuko njye numva mubwa nanjye ubwanjye ubu aho maze kugera ngo natari byera. Agaciro ntabwo twakaba, ntabwo twagaha agaciro, ntabwo twagaha agaciro kako ngo tubone uko tukabara.
So then I realized that architects were not that cool after all. She's cool. And then MAS was founded on those beliefs. We call it low fab. We have to hire locally. We have to source regionally. We have to train whenever we can. And most of all, we have to uphold the dignity. This led to an architecture with a mission. Can a neonatal ward celebrate childbirth? We all know that childbirth is a celebration over the world, everywhere. But how can we design a building that even when that process turns in the wrong way and the child is born a bit early, it can still be celebrated? Building in Rwanda, we always have to deal with slopes, and we created these gardens in the retaining wall. And I remember getting the best compliment I've ever received in my work when a nurse at this hospital says, they will come to take their wedding photos in these gardens because they're so beautiful. That was very humbling. But it's all about women, and how do we make these projects about them? There is this artwork. Traditional of Rwanda is made of cow dung. It does not smell, I promise you. It's very beautiful, vivid colors, and there's this cooperative of women that make it. And like in an architecture studio, people get tired and they have to sleep next to their work. So I could relate to that. But the results are astonishing because then this building that would normally be a clinical kind of space, neat and clean and white, and has all this added color and that brings life to it. And that's a life-changing moment. And if we can use buildings to celebrate childbirth, can we use buildings to prevent maternal and child mortality? And that's what we try to do when we approach the project in Malawi. Obviously, the initiative is good because mothers can travel to these projects, to these maternity waiting homes ahead of time. They don't get tired, they deliver in safety, but not if we're accommodating them in these spaces, because they're dark, they're not comfortable, and that defeats the purpose because the mother who stays in it does not come or encourage the other mothers to come when they get pregnant. And a pregnant woman is not a patient. She's not sick. So we need to create a home for her, and this is the village, the native village of Malawi, where she comes from. And why can't we design smaller units that are scalable, but also offer these communal spaces within them and have them a place where they can hang out and socialize? And in the process also convince a seasoned mason that we can build the buildings with the most beautiful roof in Malawi, according to his own words. I'm quoting here. And can a teaching center protect endangered life? Yes. The answer is yes, if it's located here. This is not a photo I just get out of the internet. This place exists, and it's surreal. And this is how you get there. It takes 5 days, 2 planes, 1 boat, and 5-hour motor ride from the nearest village. So the challenge, the logistics challenge of constructing a project went up a notch, and that's why we loved it so much, because we love the challenge. So that means we had to make everything on site, make the brick, lay them, cut the wood, assemble them, put them up, and cover them with roof shingles. And we opened this new frontier and these new opportunities for these young learners. And literally, the bright future, you can see it. Can a health clinic end an epidemic like cholera? That's what question we need to answer when we approach the project in Haiti. After the earthquake, this epidemic came and killed thousands of people. So we thought about it as an organism that is going to help cure people, but also help prevent the spread of that disease further. And in the process, also make a building that is adaptable, that is adaptable to Haiti climate that you all know is not that forgiving. And this guy doesn't seem like he's building something, but he's really skilled. These are the Haiti famous metal workers. So what we did is think of a system that will allow for the building's facade to prioritize privacy when it's needed, ventilation because it's necessary, and daylighting because you need to create a nice environment for people who have these sick diseases. And then translate that into a simple formula that this gentleman, Mackenzie, can take and use that advanced machinery he has in his hand and this specialized equipment of his to slowly manufacture this facade piece by piece. And the results are astonishing because every cut on that facade is made by his hands.
Infatti si c'è al rumore. Des dans le domaine qui est artisanat. Parce que c'est une manière. Mes amis, mon proche côté pour les collègues. Grâce à Dieu, on va mourir. Je ne passe pas artisan, tout le monde a fonctionné. Les gens qui sont venus côté, c'est qu'ils ont bagarré en nuit. Et tout a été à vivre. Mais toute zone la vivre, tout parce que si comme la même là,
We believe that people, in order to develop their full potential, they need to have health opportunities, educational opportunities, and job opportunities.
et gestion, on travail, moi fait, un patron, moi travaille forme là, et puis moi caroté yo. Chaque dimension gagne qui à 15, 30, 45, 60, plus moi retirer mi-temps fait 3, ensuite moins couper, moins décoller. Si négatif dans mi-temps là, ça fait 5. Transporter là sur le site là. Je descends jusqu'à ce que je vienne bailler ça, chaque dimension gagne qui. Moi fait, je ne comprends pas, mais les lettres à la fin, je viens voir son L.
We are looking at a place where the building itself will be comfortable for the patients and that's well ventilated. At the same time, it's linked to every other aspect of health and economics.
Je travaille ça encore avec elle. Bien qu'elle dit, mais au moins 4 ou 5 comme ça. Je suis passé dans la machine, je regarde. Des fois, madame me connaît dans la machine, je regarde. Ah, mais ça belle, on fait. Je dis, ouais, j'en finis. Je prends une photo, je suis très fier. Content de participer là-dedans parce que même contribuer là, on bagage qui est utile pays. En communauté, bon, c'est passé. Fait partie des artisans qui ont fonctionné ici.
How about more sensitive issues? Can architecture make us live better with one another? And my country, Rwanda, likely to Germany and South Africa, we've realized that it's important that we erect monuments that make us reflect on our dark history. But there are countries which haven't done it. And this is Brian Stevenson, his Eco-Justice Initiative founder. He's a lawyer and he's actively advocating for that conversation to start happening in the United States. And we're working with him to build the memorial that is of the boldest move, architectural move ever made by a lawyer, not an architect, to document all the sites of these atrocities and build a memorial in Montgomery, Alabama. And the idea would be that when we enter this building, you kind of understand how these pillars reflect a public plaza where these things used to take place. But then the ground starts sinking, and the more you go in, you start realizing that those pillars kind of reflect and change your perception on how this lynching was being done. And this is a short video that talks about it.
If I went somewhere as a young girl, if I said my name is Josephine Boland, are you Elmo Boland's daughter? And then a stream of accolades would follow. That happened all of my childhood. So I knew that there was something special about my dad. Our dad, Elmo Boland, was born in 1908 here in Lowndes County, Alabama. He started out with a mule and a wagon, and then he got a Model T car that he converted to a truck. And after that, he actually owned 3 tractor-trailer trucks. So many people was telling us that he was a philanthropist, and he was changing the way Jim Crow operated in the South. And because of his reputation, reliability, dependability, and all of that, white farmers started preferring my dad's business to white truckers. All of that created a lot of hardship for whites in their minds. They thought that he was taking business away from them. So all of them got together and decided that it would be better if he were not living, so they decided to kill him. My father was lynched in Lowndes County, Alabama. The white man who killed him wasn't even indicted.
These are hard conversations to have, but eventually we'll have to have them, and that's what drives nations here. And why does all these lessons we've learned in the past few years matters to us, especially in Africa? I can't express it more than other speakers have expressed it. The population growth in Africa is really high, and we're saying half of those people in 2050 will be living in cities, which is good news. The bad news is we don't have cities yet. And that is a big problem, because then what you call primary social infrastructure, low housing, primary schools, clinics like the one we just showed, the numbers in need are so high that we can't put them up in a conventional way. They have to be something different. And that's where Law Fab makes architecture become a process in which we deliver the basic human rights to people. No woman should have to think about this as a reminder on your birthday of the bad experiences she's had giving you birth in this place. And what kind of future are we giving our children, educating them in these places? It's not right. But also we have to stop making infrastructure set up that create these social differences that might lead to worst economic inequalities that we're seeing over the next century. And that brings me to the reason why I'm here, the African Design Center. We're setting up a fellowship program in Kigali, and like the photo suggests, it's field-based, real projects where apprentices come and we learn together how we apply this Law Fab. How do we develop it? How do we push it further? How do we push it forward? And the idea is that we'll nurture a creative leadership that can take on this massive challenge that the continent is facing. Locally fabricated is the way to go, and I'm going to end on these slides because who built and how we built it matters now much more than we have ever thought. And thank you so much.